The huge vote margin between NRM's President Yoweri Museveni and the opposition parties in the presidential elections have had the opposition members crying foul, saying Ugandans could not have voted that massively for the incumbent president in a free and fair environment. But analysts are faulting opposition parties for their poor performance, saying they condoned acts of bribery in their campaign speeches in the hope that the rural folk would vote against the ruling NRM party.
The wide gap between President Museveni and Dr. Besigye, for me, essentially tells me that the opposition strategy that they adopted didn't work, and secondly, it was also defeatist. But the opposition also adopted this strategy of like the NRM is engaged in buying voters. And I think they took this approach, telling citizens, take their money and vote against them. I think it was a wrong strategy, but it was also defeatist.
This is your money. Eat it and vote against the thieves.
Nicholas Opio, a city lawyer and political analyst, believes political parties in Uganda have a lot to do to put their house in order to provide an alternative government.
So in many senses, the parties are still trying to pick up. The parties are still at a growth stage. They're still learning the trade of being a real party. And in the true sense of the parties in Uganda don't qualify to be called parties. They are still parties in the making. So I think the future is still much about rebuilding parties, having party structures, entrenching ideologies of the parties amongst their supporters.
President Museveni's win by 68% will make him the longest-serving president in East Africa, and analysts believe this will put the Ugandan leader in pole position to play a key role in regional politics.
But also, in terms of regional peace and security, Museveni is a key player in the Great Lakes region. He's deployed in Somalia. He has a big role to play in Burundi and I think Eastern Congo. So I think Museveni is an important player in the region, and the fact that he's won the election by not just a small majority but a big majority will give him the confidence to entrench his role in the East African region.
However, Opio says tough times ahead if the president does not build solid national institutions.
You see, whether we like it or not, Museveni is not immortal. At one point P time T is going to give way. So Uganda must look beyond individuals, not just Museveni. And I think the emphasis needs to be on building institutions and not individual persons, because governance doesn't revolve around individuals, but rather institutions and people.
Okay. The analysts hope the next 5 years of President Museveni will be the time to implement key reforms needed to turn around the country. Chris Ochamringa, NTV Tonight.